who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
You walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send you one message. And this is what it feels like. And this is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this trying to be the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like this. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud of you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send you one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap.
Now, this game is really just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's Oh My Goodness Monday, and man, did we have some oh my goodness stuff this weekend. Clemson is horrible. Clemson football is bad. They're worse than the Longhorns. They're worse than A&M. They might be as bad as TSU. I'm just saying, Clemson football, it couldn't happen to a better head coach. Dabo Swinney, great job. Great job. See what happens when you run your mouth and you go quit if they implement name, image, and likeness and all of that, and you lied, and now you suffering. Bad. Horrible. And go lose this weekend, too. Gonna lose it. Oh, my goodness. Clemson ain't been this bad in a long time. Man, as you see, I'm in rare form already. I'm loving it. So there was that. What a game last night with the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers has saved my reputation. Rodgers did Rodgers stuff last night and got Green Bay a win when everybody thought they were going to lose. So congratulations, Green Bay. Everybody buried them after week one. They're now 2-1. And how about the Baltimore Ravens? Is there a better kicker in the game today than the kicker Baltimore had? If your kicker can't kick it 66 yards in a game as time expires to give your team the win, you ain't got no kicker. You ain't got no kicker. If your kicker can't go out there and kick a 66-yarder for the win, you don't have a kicker. And, Keith and I both said that Tom Brady and them were going to have a tough time this weekend. They did. The LA Rams are for real, and I owe Matthew Stafford an apology. I'll get to that when I come back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Get up mornings with Erica Campbell. More prizes and more winners.
You are a winner.
Yay!
Let's get up mornings. Hello, Hi, Leanna. Where you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston,
H
Texas.
Town.
Leanna, what is the word of the day?
Party. Join the party, y'all.
Hey! Congratulations. You win $100 in Erica Campbell's cash and a chance for a trip for two to fly away to Atlanta. Airfare, hotel, ground transportation, and a chance to meet and greet some of your favorite gospel artists. How you feeling?
I'm claiming that too.
Come on, come
No,
on.
that's right.
Now tell us what show just made you a winner.
Get up mornings with Erica Campbell. Woo!
Show did.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I have so many friends that I
I am Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Wins, they come in all shapes and forms in our lives. And for many of us, it is a day-by-day journey. You won't receive a trophy for every win in your life, but every win brings you the happiness that you deserve in the short and long run. Don't compare your wins to your friends or other people's victories. You may have several things in common, but you must never assess your wins by what others achieve. You may use them as a reference guide of some sort to create a win, but do not try to duplicate others' wins. Just make sure you commemorate your wins. After each win in your life, whether it's big or small, take a moment and reflect on where you have come from and where you are now.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out because when you find the perfect home, you don't want to lose it to anybody else. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers and their agents greater confidence in you. We've already helped over 1 million clients just like you reach their home financing goals this year alone. So remember this, what can help you buy the home you really want? Rocket can. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET. That's rocketmortgage.com or call 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information appraisal and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President of the Communication Workers of America District 6. Trey and I are inviting you to listen in to our new political talk show, Power to the People Political Hour.
Hello, this is Trey Daniels from the Daniels Group. Yes, Claude, the show will be hard-hitting and informative, talking about national and local political issues of the day, week, and month. Interviews will be with pastors, community leaders, elected officials, and political operatives. You know, Claude, a part of our responsibility is informing the citizenry and give them power to the people.
That's right, Trey. We're asking that you listen in on 1140 AM, 92.3, or streaming on KYOKradio.org, Thursdays at 10 a.m.
got to give the people now. Give people what they want.
Man, I've been to a lot of beautiful churches.
All right, y'all. Back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live, KYOKradio.org. A lot of text messages already. Folks getting a little, I don't know what they want to say, but it'll be all right. Hey, listen, it'll be all right, y'all. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. If your team didn't win yesterday, it'll be all right. Pittsburgh's got a decision to make. Pittsburgh's got a decision to make. That's the team that I hyped up in the offseason and heading into the regular season. I said that Ben Roethlisberger was the right choice at quarterback. I regret that I said that. I didn't know Ben Roethlisberger was in need of a walker. I mean, somebody sent me a clip of a play where he just flat out fell down and threw the ball like somebody's granddaddy. This is your granddaddy. Threw the ball like he was somebody's granddaddy. I was like, oh, no, bro. We can't have that. That ain't how you flow. But I owe Matthew Stafford an apology first, though. So let me read a prepared statement. I got about 5 of them over here. None of them for the UT Longhorns. UT, we'll talk about y'all tomorrow. 70 points, but you gave up 35. I mean, okay. All right. Yay. I mean, good win. Got the right quarterback now, but you gave up 35 points. So anyway, I, AJ Jones, host of the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show, do hereby with deep regret apologize to one Matthew Aloysius Stafford for thinking that he would not be a good quarterback when he got traded to the Los Angeles Rams. I apologize because I got caught up in all of the things he did not do up in Detroit. And as they said about Dorothy, we not in Detroit no more. So I do hereby from this moment forward apologize to Matthew Stafford and will recognize him as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL until further notice. I will not be taking any questions after this statement. Thank you. That dude just balled out. Matthew Stafford went out there like a grown man and put Tom Brady and them to rest. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. I mean, he made every play. He made every throw. Let me look at his stats real quick. Matthew Aloysius Stafford. Where is that at? Rams, Buccaneers. There it is. 34-24. Box score. Matthew Stafford, 27 for 38, 343 yards, and not one, not two, not three, but 4 touchdowns with absolutely no INTs. Dude had a quarterback rating out of this world. I don't know if we can count that high. And all he did was make plays. Whenever it looked like Tampa Bay was going to try to get back in it, Matthew Stafford said, "I hold my Powerade. I'll be back." Can't beat it. It says a number of things. It says just how horrible Detroit was and how they literally sucked the life out of Matthew Stafford while he was there. And it also shows just how horrible Jared Goff was and how he just did not get the job done while he was in LA. Those things are facts. Because you just flip places and Matthew Stafford has the Rams looking like they're heading back to a Super Bowl, and Jared Goff is in Detroit having them look like, I don't know, Detroit, the Lions. So got to give love to Matthew Stafford. Sony Michel looking all right over there in LA. Got a lot more options to carry the ball 20 times than he did in New England. Tom Brady, tough day, man. When a quarterback has to throw the ball 50 times or more, that's a sign of a team that's in trouble. That's a sign of a team that can't run the ball, can't establish the run, and is in trouble. Tom Brady, 41 for 55, 432, but only 1 touchdown. And they ran the ball 13 times for 35 yards, and the leading rusher, wait for it, Tom Brady. You already know you are not going to win a game when Tom Aloysius Brady is your leading rusher. And what happened? The Rams did to Tampa what Tampa normally does to everybody else. The Rams shut down the run, got pressure on the quarterback. Tampa was unable to shut down the run or put a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford. So there you go. That's why you got a result of a 10-point win for the Rams. Everybody told me Jones was a man, 5 carries, 11 yards. But, hey, my guy, Leonard Fournette, 4 carries for 8 yards. Rams wasn't playing that. Rams weren't playing that. Oh, my goodness. That defense was legit. All right, let me take a break. Got to come back after this. 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in on this Oh My Goodness Monday on the lunch break.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
In need of tires? Check out OMG Tire Services and more. New and used tires, all the name brands you desire. Located at 3126 Tidwell, between 59 North and Jensen. Give them a call at 832-767-3211. Top-notch service from beginning to end. When you're done, get your car hand-washed inside and out at OMG Tire Services and more. Located at 3126 Tidwell, between 59 North and Jensen. Call 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located on the north side.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio 1140 AM and the all-new 92.3 FM at KYOKradio.org.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you're living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you qualify to receive a free, no-obligation consultation on how to get rid of that debt for good. Call the Debt Helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the Debt Helpline now.
800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. That's 800-958-2156.
This is TJ from South Park. I listen to the lunch break with AJ Jones on 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Oh My Goodness Monday. Y'all stay there. I gotta share the show with someone who didn't know. I moved it over to the show page. Copy. All right. And then I'm going to go over here. And then I'm going to hit paste. And bam, they got it. They got it. Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that we took the show off of my personal page. And we're rocking it over on the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show page. That's at Lunch Break KYOK, at Lunch Break KYOK. And we're broadcasting live on Twitter, on Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube is the Lunch Break with AJ Jones. So there you go. Also, so you can stream us live, KYOKradio.org, KYOKradio.org. So there you go. We try to get it out there. Again, two Titans. I'm not talking about Tennessee Titans. I'm talking about just big, strong champions, the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That could be a preview of a playoff game. And I'm talking about a late round playoff game. If Green Bay wasn't starting to wake up and Aaron Rodgers wasn't out there doing Aaron Rodgers kind of stuff, I would be ready to move Green Bay out of the NFC Championship game and slide the Rams and the Buccaneers in that thing. Because, man, let me tell you something. Both those two teams, barring injury, are going to be just fine. And Buccaneer fans, chill out. I know y'all like, oh, my God, we're not as good as we were. Y'all are going to be fine. Remember, Tampa Bay got off to a slow start last year. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Again, barring any injury, something major, they're going to be just fine. So great game there. A lot of talk this morning about Cam Newton, the New England Patriots, and Mac Jones. I watched that game yesterday, and you know me, I try not to call names when it's colleagues in the business. Somebody's laughing somewhere. When did you start trying not to call people's names? But the color analyst for that game on a national broadcast was clearly not a Jameis Winston fan and clearly a fan of Mac Jones. Because when Jameis did the exact same thing that Mac Jones, let me do it differently. When Mac Jones did the exact same thing that Jameis Winston did, Mac Jones's was a heads-up play. Jameis's was immaturity, and he got chewed out by his head coach. Jameis was being sacked and threw it up, and the wide receiver happened to catch it for a touchdown. And everybody was celebrating Jameis except this announcer and Sean Payton. I get it. You want Jameis Winston protecting the ball. You don't want him just throwing it up randomly. You want him sometimes to take sacks and live to fight another day. I get it. But one thing I know is this particular analyst has never played quarterback a day in his life. And just because he blocked for some very good quarterbacks doesn't mean that he understands the nature of the game. In fact, he started to sound almost like a nagging spouse because he kept saying the same thing over and over again. And that was an oh my goodness in a very different way. It was an oh my goodness if you don't shut up. You just said that. We get it. You don't like Jameis. We get it. But then Mac Jones throws it up and the wide receiver makes a superhero play and gets it in for the touchdown. It's like, oh, that's a heads-up play. That's a 50-50 ball. Why is it a 50-50 ball for Mac Jones and it's an immature ball for Jameis Winston? I don't understand. What I do understand was the final score was what was it? 28-13. So if I was blind and could not see and all I could do was hear, I would swear that New England won that game 28-13 and Mac Jones just played all world. If I had not seen the game for myself, I would have thought that Mac Jones and the New England Patriots steamrolled the New Orleans Saints. But because I can trust my eyes, I got 4 of them, I could see this dude is watching a whole different game. Mac Jones threw not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions. And oh yeah, by the way, he threw a whole lot of other balls that were uncatchable. And as always, this color analyst decided that 2 of the interceptions were not Mac Jones's fault. So in his mind, in his commentary, Mac Jones was only responsible for 1 interception. That's hogwash. That's the stuff when your hog is dirty and you rinse them off, the stuff that comes off the hog and the water, that's the stuff that is because Mac Jones turned the ball over 3 times. 3 times. Let me go to the phone line. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, James Todd.
What's going on, big dog?
Oh, one thing we got to put to rest with Jameis, we can't keep blaming that he can't see and the LASIK procedure didn't work. So here's one thing I can't figure out about Jameis and the way Sean Payton uses him, right? I'm looking at Jameis. I didn't see the game, okay? I just saw the highlights. But this is a couple of games now. Jameis Winston, 13 for 21, 128 yards, right?
Yep.
There was another game earlier in the year that they won. He threw a bunch of touchdowns, but it was like, again,
buck 48 through 5 touchdowns, buck 48.
Why isn't he sprinkling in, he being Sean Payton, some deeper balls down the field? I don't know. That's one thing that kind of surprised me. So does he not trust Jameis? to open it up a little bit is wanting to go with just a more conservative passing attack and rely on it, because I mean the defense is good. It just seems like that's what they're relying on, and obviously yesterday that worked with the 3 turnovers they got.
Yeah, so I've talked to a few people down there. I'll try and get a couple of them on the show, or at least one of them on the show. And they feel like Sean Payton is trying to be cautious with Jameis, not because he doesn't trust him, but he's trying to build his confidence. Like Jameis may not have fully worked out of his head all of the negativity from the 30 interceptions. And from what I'm hearing from, the media, the color analysts, and all these different talk shows is they're not going to let him forget it, because all of them are pretty much saying, it's the same old Jameis. It's just not, those balls are not being picked off. And I disagree. And if Sean Payton is trying to bring him along slowly, build his confidence, eventually, like you're saying, he's got to open up that playbook, because Jameis Winston gives you something that you haven't had for years with Drew Brees, and that's the ability to throw the ball down the field and to make that defense play you honestly and not all bunched up at the line.
So let's talk about Mac Jones. I do like Mac Jones, right? But with any rookie quarterback, you're going to go with growing pains. You're going to go through growing pains. You can go back through any great quarterback that started as a rookie. There's going to be some drastic ups and downs. You're going to have some games where they'll probably throw 3 picks, and then maybe next week Mac Jones throws 3 touchdowns.
Now, right? He ain't going to do that against Tampa Bay next week. I promise you that.
That's right. I forgot they play each other. Most likely not, but I think he plays better, right? Like, I saw enough of him where, the offensive coordinator there, he'll put him in positions where, he can be successful. So I don't look at that game and look at it as, hey, they should have kept Cam. I think they made the right decision there, because I think once the competition becomes close, like take Trey Lance in San Francisco, once you feel it, and I think the Trey Lance era is coming very closely to be starting soon. Once the competition gets pretty close of a young quarterback and an older veteran, Andy Dalton, whoever you want to call it, right?
Yep.
They're going to say, hey, let's just roll with the young guy. We're going to have to go through some growing pains. It's going to be ugly at times. But I like what Mac Jones can do. He's got really good poise in the pocket. But against the Saints defense is tough. You're going to have some of those days until he kind of grows through that. And Bill Belichick too. They got to get their roster skill set wise is a little bit better than what it's been in the past. I like Hunter Henry. I like Jacoby Myers. They got some guys back from last year, but they're still 1-2, and they're 0-2 at home.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. So I disagree, but I get it. Let me tell you why I disagree. When the competition is that close, then you got to go to the intangibles. Mac Jones had never played a down in the NFL. Mac Jones wasn't ready for NFL speed, NFL defenses, reading coverages, all that kind of. He just wasn't ready. There's no way in the world you can tell me that Mac Jones matched Cam Newton's experience. And that's where, if they were serious about winning this year, like all of the analysts got, New England penciled into the playoffs and, possibly even competing for a Super Bowl, hogwash again. Defensive coordinators did not show everything in preseason. They didn't give all the twists and all the stunts and all that kind of stuff. And it's showing. That's why you got to err on the side of the experience when it comes down to even play. That's what San Francisco did, and look at where they are. That's what New England didn't do, and look at where they are. I'm not saying Cam Newton was the answer, because clearly they didn't want Cam for whatever reasons, and let's just call that what it is. But at the end of the day, Mac Jones was not ready. Now, if you want to go the rookie route, he's doing what all the other rookies do, that's fine. Just because all the other rookies are sucking doesn't mean it's okay for him to be playing as poorly as he's playing.
Let's talk about Cam.
For what?
You think Cam plays in NFL again?
I do. I do. I think if in fact, I don't see why Pittsburgh is not working him out tomorrow. Most teams will bring in, free agents on Tuesday and work them out. I'll be surprised if Pittsburgh is not one of those teams working him out. Another team that I'd be surprised if they don't at least work. Notice I'm saying work them out. I didn't say sign. I said work them out. The Jets may decide to bring him in and work him out. So there are teams out there that we're getting close. I said by week 4, this is the start of week 4.
So here's where I think we have differencing of opinions of where the young quarterback, where he was drafted. Okay, so Mac Jones, 15th pick in the draft, right? And we got the young kid for the Jets that came out of BYU. He went what, 2nd?
Yep.
Okay.
And he's horrible, bro. He's putrid.
And then you got Trey Lance. Like I said, I think Trey Lance is not far away, right? Because once the play gets to the point where it's like okay, where you're watching like Jimmy G, and you're like, it's all right. You know what I mean? Then you get to the point, okay, we need to go ahead and start this process of getting the other guy acclimated. No, while I'm thinking of that, I'm on NFL.com. One guy I was wrong about was the quarterback for the Chargers. He's way better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I got to admit to that too. I probably need to write up a press release for him too, because that sophomore slump stuff, that ain't happening with him. That ain't at all.
He's nice. I mean, I was way off on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
Was like, man, I don't know about this one. But no, that kid can play. He is, and I don't think it's a fluke.
Yeah, no. I really think I see fundamentals strong in him. I see, his mentals are strong. Whatever the system is in LA with the Chargers is a good one for him. He obviously understands it, doesn't get rattled, doesn't let pressure get to him. He's got a short memory. When he makes a mistake, he bounces back with something even better. I like him. I got to say, Justin Herbert is legit.
So I'm going to give you the teams that could use Cam, and I'm going to use these examples because they don't have a young top draft pick waiting there already, okay? So you got the Texans. You got Washington, right? Those are two teams that do not have a young, high draft pick, high meaning, high second round or higher.
Right. So let me, as you give them, I want to tell you why those two won't happen. So okay. Ron Rivera, for whatever reason, whatever the situation is there, I believe Ron Rivera is the one not allowing that to happen. And they ate Taylor Heineke up. Buffalo ate Taylor Heineke up this weekend. He is not the answer. But whatever that Ron Rivera, Cam Newton, I feel almost like Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, not on the level because they don't have 7 championships, but it was just time for them to separate. And I don't think Ron Rivera wants to reunite that relationship. So I think that one is an exception. The Texans, I just text Keith Hennick. The Texans faithful, and I'm talking about Pope, Jack Easterby, and your boy from New England, Nick Caserio, they love Davis Mills. They are not going to do anything to rattle Davis Mills' cage. Why? They weren't expected to win this year anyway. They've got nothing to lose by playing the rest of the season with Davis Mills.
All right, so let me give you another one. Colts.
Agreed. I agree with that one 100%.
Yeah, so the Colts, they're 0-3, so they need help, right?
Yep.
0-3. Once I give you, if I can find a couple more, I'll summarize where it makes it challenging still. I was going to say the Giants, AJ, but again, you got another young guy there, Daniel Jones. If they brought in Cam, to me, it would be almost waving the white flag that they don't think Daniel Jones will ever turn the corner. But I'm going to give Daniel Jones a little bit of slack because that team around him is straight trash. I think Daniel Jones can still be a solid quarterback in the NFL. He has nobody to throw to.
Yeah, but let me do what you just said. Compare Daniel Jones to Justin Herbert. Daniel Jones came out a year before Herbert, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Compare the two of them right now.
But here's
Hold on. Name two wide receivers from the Chargers.
So Herbert has Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and Austin Eckler. Name three guys on the Giants that Daniel Jones has.
Come on, Shepard. Your boy Saquon Barkley's back now. I mean, and he's got a tight end that is huge as a mountain. Now he can't always catch, but he's got one of those flex tight ends as well. Bruh, Daniel Jones has not matured as fast as he could and should. And you were the one that said, AJ, watched Joe Judge and Daniel Jones, and look how he's got that team going in the right direction. I'm sorry, bruh. He's got a bigger weight on his shoulders than just that team going in the right direction. He's got bad management, man. Dave Gettleman has not put that team in a position to win. And as a result, Daniel Jones's growth has been stunted.
So, are you telling me that Sterling Shepard is in the same category as Mike Williams and Keenan Allen? Keenan Allen, arguably, AJ, is the best route runner in the NFL.
That ain't arguable. Please stop.
Hey, okay, then it's bad.
You listen to too many shows, man. Listen to me. What I'm saying is they told us, Dave Gettleman told us that Shepard was a replacement for Odell Beckham Jr. That's what they said. Nobody said that but them. Nobody said that but them. They said they were going to be just fine with Shepard in place of ODB.
Shepard is a number 3, and I like Shepard.
OBJ, I should say.
Yeah, and I like Shepard, but he's a number 3. He's a Michael Gallup for the Cowboys.
All I'm saying is you're right. We can go down that list all day long. That's what the front office told us. And Joe Judge was supposedly supposed to have the New England magic of where he could take anybody and put it in his system and make it work. Have you seen that?
No.
They lost to Atlanta, bro.
But
they lost to Atlanta, bro.
The Chargers line is very good.
I'll give you that. But you act like Gettleman hadn't had a chance to build that line. Everybody told me Gettleman had one of the best drafts in the NFL this year.
I don't see that. So I'm not giving up on Daniel Jones yet. I think he may just need to get to a new team that has. So let's go.
Well, before you go, let me tell you what the word on the street is. The word on the street is it's going to be a 3-fer if they don't turn it around this year. Gettleman will be out, Judge will be out, and Jones will be out.
Now, that's good news for Jones. Now the other two, they may have trouble finding work, but
yeah, Jones will find another job. He'll bounce around. He'll be the next Blaine Gabbert. But what I'm saying is they've tied those 3 at the hip: Gettleman, Judge, and Jones. And not Gettleman's seat's been hot. Jones's is getting hot, and Judge's is starting to warm up.
All right, so let's tie back to Cam. So we already found about 3 spots that it potentially worked. And I think out of the 3, the only one you really were warm on was the Colts, right? So I think the treatment Cam is getting or will continue to get is what Carmelo got.
Yeah, right? I agree with that.
He's getting the same. They looked at Carmelo. What Carmelo sat up the league with 2 years? And the narrative was about Carmelo was he won't come off the bench. He doesn't want to be a role player. He won't be able to adjust from being the franchise guy to just being one of the guys, right?
Right.
He sat out the league for 2 years. I didn't think Carmelo was ever going to play again.
Yep.
So diving a little bit deeper, Carmelo eventually got a shot, which I thought was miraculous, being that he'd been out so long, which made it even harder. Do I think Cam will ever play in the NFL? We're also got to keep in mind Cam is unvaccinated, correct?
Yeah, but let's put that in context too. Do you think that there are 32 vaccinated quarterbacks in the NFL right now? Yes or no?
32 starters?
Yeah.
32 starters. That's a great question. One I would love to know the answer to.
I already know the answer. The answer is no. The answer is no. And for whatever reason, Cam Newton is being thrown under every bus as if that is the reason why he is not in a camp right now. That might be the reason why he is not in New England right now. And I'll be honest with you, do we know if Mac Jones is vaccinated? Do we know that as a fact?
I don't know. I don't know that as a fact.
So my point is there are other organizations that have quarterbacks that are not vaccinated, and why that should still be an issue for Cam Newton is beyond me. I'm not making it about race. I ain't making it about color, discrimination. I'm just saying the whole vaccination thing is something that's been blown out of proportion to the point where we're missing the real question. You're telling me there are 32 other starting quarterbacks in the NFL that are fully vaccinated. I don't believe that.
Yeah, man, here's what my gut instinct tells me on Cam. Do I think he'll ever get to play again? I think the narrative on Cam is deeper than Carmelo for whatever reason. Because I remember when Carmelo was going through his time he was out the league, I remember Chauncey Billups made a comment. I think the comment hurt Carmelo. He said when he was with him in Denver, and obviously this was in his early years, he cared more about getting 30 points a game than winning. So the question is does Cam have that same perception? I don't know. For some reason, the perception of Cam with teams does not seem to be good, but I don't know where that perception is coming from. I don't know if it's a Ron Rivera thing, where kind of what you were alluding to earlier, because you would think maybe the likely landing spot would have been the Redskins, right?
I agree. I agree. When Fitzpatrick went on the IR, that meant he couldn't play before week 5. And Taylor Heineke, they saw quickly that, he's not the heir apparent that they thought he was. So you would think if Washington was as serious about their season as everybody had them penciled into the top spot in the NFC East, then they would be making a call to somebody who could be serviceable at quarterback. My bigger question is not what's going on with Ron Rivera and Cam Newton, is where's that Washington defense that everybody said was so formidable that, all they needed was Ryan Fitzpatrick in order to win the division.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's a tough one with Cam. I think they don't see him as a backup. Will Cam want to be a backup?
He's already said he's already on record. In fact, I heard the clip, about him saying that he had no problem backing up Mac Jones. They just didn't want, they didn't want that energy aura behind. And he went on to say, because most folks don't hear the whole thing, the whole interview, he said, yeah, he'd be a backup quarterback. He understands that he's not going to come in one day and start, the next. So, really to kind of answer your question, I think that there is some person behind the scenes that has their opinion about Cam Newton, and other people on similar roles are listening to those opinions. I think that there are teams like Pittsburgh that they don't care nothing about that. Mike Tomlin will bring a guy in and check him out for himself. The old Raiders used to do that. They'll, everybody hates that guy. Good, bring him in. We'll take him. The Bengals used to do that. Neither one of those teams need a Cam Newton at quarterback. So to me, it's going to be somebody like the Steelers, the Dolphins. I think, again, to your point, where they've got young rookie quarterbacks, Jacksonville's going to ride or die with Trevor Lawrence. They're going to ride or die with him. And he's throwing interceptions like he's throwing Mardi Gras beads.
I don't know if you remember, you and I talking about this. That was my biggest concern with Lawrence coming out of Clemson. He was a turnover machine, and he would always throw it in harm's way. So I'm not going to overreact now. I'm sure his head is spinning like every rookie quarterback trying to figure this thing out. Peyton Manning was no different. Peyton threw, 30 picks, 35 picks, something like that?
Yeah, yep.
So if it happens to one of the best of all time, I'm sure it's going to happen to a lot of these other guys too.
And that's why I say I'm not ready to bury these guys. I still don't think as highly as Mac Jones as everybody else does because, I mean, the history. Where is the history of great Alabama quarterbacks in the last 10 years? It's just that program does not develop NFL-level quarterbacks consistently. It doesn't. And Steve Sarkisian, it's under his watch this time. I don't think he's any different. I think Tua is going to be the best quarterback to come out of Alabama, and he's got to show he can stay healthy.
I think the toughest part when you evaluate Alabama quarterbacks, you sit back and to me it's extremely tough to evaluate them because the talent around them is so ridiculous. I mean, you're throwing to 3 NFL future receivers. Out of your 5 linemen, you've got 3 out of 5 going to the draft, right?
Right.
Your running back is a future NFL player. So it's hard to, when you watch them play, it's hard to think, okay, is it the system or is it them? Because there's so much talent they have to work with, it's hard to really decipher, who's doing what and how much versus these other guys. Now, I mean, Lawrence obviously had a lot of help around him too. That could be a tough evaluation. I think quarterback's tough to gauge.
Yeah, well, we know that to be true because look at how many teams have missed, year after year after year. Todd, I hate to cut us off. I got to get Sybil Wilkes on here and then get ready to go into the next hour. And then I got another call holding. But, man, I appreciate the call. Don't forget to get at me tomorrow for Talk Your Team Tuesday, okay?
One last thing. I know you saw my Longhorns in that
Get off my phone, man. Your phone is breaking up. Later, bro. Love you, Todd. Hey, caller, do me a favor. Stay right there. I got to hit Sybil Wilkes, and then we'll come right back to you. Here's Sybil Wilkes and what you need to know today.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. We're back at it. Today is Monday, September 27th, 2021. Number 1. Since September 9th, some 30,000 Haitian migrants have been seeking entry into the United States. The last of up to 15,000 have been cleared from their encampment underneath and near a bridge in Del Rio, Texas. The Biden administration has faced blistering criticism from its handling of the crisis from Republicans and Democrats. California Congresswoman Maxine Waters slammed the Biden administration for the way Haitian migrants were being treated at the border, saying that it takes us back hundreds of years. Number 2. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is ready to throw out many Texans' 2020 presidential election votes. Even though former President Donald Trump won Texas, the state Republican Party is utilizing resources to open up a 2020 election audit into the 4 largest counties that voted for Biden. These areas are disproportionately represented by liberals, urbanites, young people, and people of color. Read how the Black Women's PAC is fighting back in today's newsletter. Number 3, about 75% of Americans ages 12 and older are at least partially vaccinated against the coronavirus as of Friday. Rates vary widely by region, and a handful of states are struggling with lower than average vaccinations despite a recent surge in COVID-19 cases. Only 5 states have vaccinated more than 85% of their eligible residents. They are Hawaii, Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Number 4, video footage shows law enforcement officers in Missouri setting a police dog on a black man while he was being arrested and watching as the dog bit him. The officers then pushed the man to the ground where the dog starts to pull on his leg. The officers then pull the dog back before releasing him again. County officials are now investigating this incident. Number 5. Congratulations to the What You Need to Know partner, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The sorority recently announced they set a new record and raised more than $2.1 million in one day to benefit our nation's historically Black colleges and universities. The organization's annual HBCU Impact Day, September 20th, far exceeded the goal as the country's first Black sorority received online donations and checks from local AKA chapters, private donors, and corporate matching dollars from across the globe. The sorority has been at the forefront of several philanthropic initiatives. In June, they announced the creation of scholarships for George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna, and his granddaughters. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Say no to generational curses and traditions that do not serve you. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and social activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Check out the newest album of our very own social activist Quinn Townsend Riley, And She Worthy, available on streaming platforms now. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partner, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. To subscribe to our free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered. It's Sybil Wilkes with What You Need to Know. Today is
92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Getting ready to go into our HBCU Stroll, but somebody's been holding on. Let me get them on real quick. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Brother AJ, lunch break is Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, what you say, caller of the year 2017? How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing great.
I could be quick, AJ. You got to go?
Yeah, I got the coach, Johnnie Cole, getting ready to come on. He's looking all coachish on me right now, and I know he's got a lot to say. So, Ferdinand, what it do, baby? What it do?
I'll ask you this, and then I'll get with you on tomorrow. How long do you stay with Mills before the Texans start looking for a quarterback if they're trying to make the playoffs?
So, let me just tell you what I just said to Keith and Todd. The Texans are in no rush to move away from Davis Mills. They have absolutely nothing to lose. Remember, they only won 4 games last year. There ain't nobody pressuring them to win 5 or 6 or 7, especially with what's been going on off the field with Deshaun Watson. So they can play Davis Mills for the rest of the year. They can win 3 games, and then they can tell the season ticket holders, be patient with us. We're in transition. They're going to work on trading. They're going to try and get a bunch of picks, and they're going to try and surround Davis Mills with whatever they feel like he needs. But trust me when I say the Texans have no urgency to move away from Davis Mills.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll get with you on tomorrow.
Take it easy, Ferdinand.
All right, thanks.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it do. Y'all know how it does. It is none other than the coach from Second Chance. The coach that got TSU to the promised land. I'm talking about Johnnie Cole. What it do, coach?
Hey, it's homecoming down there in Texas, Houston, Texas, and on that yard at Texas Southern, and I just got to sing the fight song right up. We are the Tigers of TSU. We love our colors and we love our team too. We gonna fight. Hello, maroon and gray. We ready to go. We fired up.
Only you, coach. Only you. Only you, coach. Coach.
Hey, it's time.
See, folks don't get that. They thought that you was all TSU because you coached there. But I think they must have forgot that you went there. You graduated from there. That's you. You TSU.
Coach, if some folks knew my story, Coach, they don't understand, being the youngest of 9 children and having other brothers in college as well. At times my mom couldn't send for me. And plus I played on the football team the basketball team. So, the basketball team plays during Christmas break and we get a week off. So it wasn't no use to me flying all the way up to Ohio and then coming all the way back. And so I used to be the only student on campus that we had to deal with the coach, the president, the dorm director, that I was the only student. I felt like legends, Will Smith at the time. I used to walk down the campus and wasn't nobody there but me. And they had made it special for me to eat. So I was on campus for 5 years, Coach, on campus more than I was at home.
Man, I tell you what, folks need to know your story, and that's why I'm glad we got you on the airwaves so folks can know the truth and not just what they're hearing out there in the streets. And, man, you got one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time on the show today.
He's a legend. I would like to introduce this man.
Go ahead, you introduce him. You do that.
From the day I met this man on the SWAC tour, already knowing who he was. You know, we're both the same age, and we both played each other. And we've been in love and been hooked at the hip since them days that we used to face each other. Willie Tyler is not only an NCAA record breaker and 53 touchdowns in a year and all the yards, over 10,000 yards. And one thing about Tyler, we played in what they're doing now. We done that back in the 80s, the mid 80s.
Yeah.
He is a super individual. And like I said, we've been friends for 35 years, and people don't really know the closeness that we have. And when he called my phone, I answered. And when I called his phone, he answered. The one and only, before there was a McNair, he made him forget about Doug Williams. Willie Satellite Type.
Hey, man. JC, how you doing, my brother?
I'm great, Coach. I'm great.
Hey, good. Hey, Jay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Look, man, I'm over here hating. I'm like, man, I want Willie's number. I want him to answer my phone when I call. I want him to call my phone. I'm gonna answer. Listen, we so glad to have you on the show, man. And I'm not kidding when I tell you you are one of my favorite quarterbacks, and I mean that.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Look, when I talked to JC and JC talked to me about this, I said, hey, man, I love to get on and chit-chat, man, because I like to talk about the old days.
Well, brother, a lot of folks, again, as I was saying about Coach Cole, a lot of folks don't do the research. And I've said this time and time again before we met right here for the first time. Somebody was throwing the ball to Jerry Rice when he was getting all that recognition. He didn't throw it up in the air to himself and run down there and get it. So, y'all, let me introduce the man who got Jerry Rice where he is today, and that is quarterback Willie Totten. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's it. Hey, no, you missed. I'm the satellite, man. You missed the satellite.
I love it because that's a whole different kind of nickname. That's the satellite. Well, I have seen some of the footage, and man, it seemed like that ball was never gonna come down, but when it did, it was right where it needed to be.
Well, that's kind of how I got the nickname. They said that we threw the ball so much, and the ball just be like it's just hanging in the sky, and then once it beam in on the receiver, it beam in, man. They just started calling me the satellite because I didn't miss much. I very little.
Coach,
but let me piggyback off that.
I was just gonna ask you to do that.
Now, when he came into Houston, it was CC and Connection.
That's right.
And the satellite, and our game lasts for about 4 hours. That was the night that Jerry Rice got where Bill Walsh found him at. That's where he got his exposure at. And that night, I threw 5 touchdowns and 405 in the air. I kind of got Willie on that, but of course, he probably could have thrown some more. They were up a couple touchdowns, but and then I didn't play in the third quarter because my coach got upset at me. But we had a hell of a night and a hell of a game every time we got together.
Yeah, we got 2 of the greats on. We got Coach Johnnie Cole, of course, from his days at Texas Southern. And we have one of the baddest quarterbacks to ever lace him up, period. And he did his thing down there at Mississippi Valley State. And I'm glad to have Hall of Famer Willie Totten on the show. Willie, when you look at the game today, what do you see on the HBCU level and on the pro level? What do you see, and how do you assess the game today?
Well, I think just like and JC know as well as I do, because we talk about it all the time, that I think we were before our time. The things did back in the 80s, everybody are doing that now. So it's the only thing I see different. Defenses, I think that kind of caught up with that form, with that style, because now everything you're doing now, you're dropping everybody back in coverage. And I think that's the only difference that I see. But you still can create a lot of mismatches running the spread offense. And that's the only difference that I see. Because when you play man coverage and you have 5 receivers, all 5 receivers are running subpar 4.4, 4.5 speed, it's hard to get 5 DBs that can cover them. So now what they do now, they just pretty much drop in coverage and rally to the ball and I think that's the difference. I think that's the difference. What you see now in the college game and also what you see in the pro game.
Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment. Now, I got to take a quick break, but when we come back, I got a tough question for you, Willie and Coach. You've heard me ask this question before, and I want your input on it as well because you played the quarterback position. So I got to get two of the greats on the show today, man. This is my favorite lunch break ever right now. Now, on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. It's Oh My Goodness Monday, but it is our HBCU Stroll. We'll be right back right after this.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to try to get Rudy.
40 AM at the 92.3
Okay. And man, thank you for coming on, Willie. I appreciate it, brother.
Good morning. Hello. This is Leanna.
Appreciate you.
Hi, Leanna. Where you calling from?
Houston. I watched this and I listened to it on YouTube and JC show and just go there and listen to the show. And I've done that on a couple of shows.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That means a lot too.
Hotel, ground transportation, and a chance to meet and greet some of your favorite gospel artists. How you feeling?
I'm claiming that too.
Come on. That's right. Now tell us what show just made you a winner.
Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell.
Show did. Congratulations.
You gonna call him?
Cummings Jr., Vice President of Communication Workers of America, District 6. Trey and I are inviting you to listen in to our new political talk show, Power to the People Political Hour.
Hello, this is Daniels Group. Guest Claude, the show
253-5278.
talking about national and local political issues of the day, week, and month. Interviews will be with pastors, community leaders, elected officials, and political operatives. You know, Claude, a part of our responsibility is informing the citizenry and give them power to the people.
That's right, Frank. You listen in on 1140 AM, 92.3, or streaming on KYOKradio.org, Thursdays at 10 a.m.
All right, so we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the Alpha 92.3 FM. It's our HBCU Stroll on Oh My Goodness Monday. I got the coach, Johnnie Cole, and I mean it when I tell you, if you don't know, you better find out and ask somebody. One of the baddest quarterbacks to ever do it. I'm talking about quarterback Willie Totten. And Willie, the question I wanted to ask you before the break was, when I look at you, when I look at Coach Cole,
and tell him who he is,
when I look at some of the other folks, how come you guys don't get a chance to get brought into NFL camps and, you know, possibly try to earn a spot? Like I said, Jerry Rice wouldn't have been Jerry without you. What was that process like of trying to get looked at by NFL teams for you and others?
Well, what I tell you, it was a tough situation for me because I tried to do that, and you know, and I felt that I had the ability. There's no doubt that I could play the game. You know, the biggest thing that people always say about the black quarterback, that you can't read coverages and you can't read the process. But I think anything is over a period of time you can develop and you can learn. If you have the game, you know the game. Yes, the terminology is different. You know, understanding the pro system, you know, you pretty much telling everybody what to do, all the way from the receivers, the defensive line, the offensive line, the running backs. But now we've simplified it where you may say one word that can cover all of that. And I think that's been the I guess the down side of what they say about the black quarterback. But if you were to put me in any system, I could have learned any system. I could learn this. It's just to have an opportunity to do that. And truly, you know, Johnny and I, we competed at a high level when we played against each other. And I think we could have gone anywhere and played, given the opportunity. But now I'm proud and I'm glad I see brothers now getting an opportunity to play now. They're getting an opportunity to play at the high level, and they're competing. And that's the thing that I like more than anything, that sometimes we got to set the stage. I think Johnny and I, we might have been a little bit ahead of our time. Even though there was quarterbacks before us like Doug Williams, and you talking about Shaq Harris, those guys. You talk to those guys and you listen to the struggles that they had trying to make it into the league. And then when we came along, they felt that we got a couple guys in to play, so we don't have to take a chance on another guy like a Willie Totten or Johnnie Cole to prove a point. But just given the opportunity, man, I think we had the opportunity. I think we both could have played at a high level and probably would have played a long time.
Well,
Yeah, Coach, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, just in the 60s, blacks couldn't go play at PWI schools. And then it just started opening up in the 70s. So me and Todd come through in the early 80s. And, and like we've always talked in the past on this show, is about we got to change some of the faces that's making those decisions. And I think that's what's happening now, some of those faces. We got a couple of black coaches. We got a couple of black offense coordinators in the NFL and on the next league, because that's what it's all about. And like John Thompson said years ago, for the black quarterback or the black athlete or the black young coach, we got to come in already set. We got to come in already knowing, where we're crossing all our T's and dot I's. We can't come in and learn on the job like they can. And that's how it's always been. I see these young white head coaches in the NFL, they coming in learning on the job. They're good offensively, but being a head coach is like being a CEO, and they get the chance to learn on the job. You can look at Coach Kiffin down at Florida International. He's been the head coach at Tennessee, Oklahoma, USC, offense coordinator at Alabama. Well, he's gotten to learn on the job, because he was good in the Pacific area. I mean, me and Todd, we put up major numbers. You know what I mean? His numbers was just off the charts. It's no way that I guarantee you, if he was a white guy, he would have got a chance to sit somewhere on some NFL football team until he got used to the speed of the game and been very successful. When I look at Jameis Winston, I'm looking at Willie Totten. Just you're looking at two same athletes. You know what I mean? And I've never seen nobody throw the long ball better than Willie Todd had. You know what I'm saying? Or anything intermediate. So those things, until we change the faces of who's making those decisions, it's always going to be tough on us. They always going to move the flag one more yard ahead once we reach that one. But we eventually are getting there.
Yeah, and another thing, just mention that, Jameis Winston is one of my favorite players as well. But if you go back a few years prior to that, when Steve McNair first got in the league, Steve sit for 5 years before he actually became. He sit for Chandler. So you get those kind of opportunities. And once you get those opportunities, you can't help but to. And that's how Steve got an opportunity to be great in the NFL. I think if I would have had that same opportunity to come in to learn, maybe sit 2 years to learn the game the NFL way, as they say it, it's no doubt that the talent was there. It's just the fact that given the opportunity to show what you can do at that stage.
Yeah, I appreciate you all being as candid as you are. We got a call coming in. We'll take that call. We got Willie Todd, the Hall of Fame quarterback, joining us. College Football Hall of Fame quarterback joining us. Played down at Mississippi Valley State with Jerry Rice. Love that. And then, of course, we got Coach Johnnie Cole, championship head coach, and HBCU quarterback that played at a very high level. And let me just say this, because I know my listeners. I know some of y'all call me the Malcolm X of sports talk radio. This is just the truth. These are not opinions. These are the truths from these young men's perspective, and I appreciate that. Just because that has not been your experience does not mean it doesn't exist. And I want to get to the next phase of this, but let's get our caller, and then I want to come back with another question. from you, Willie, and you, Coach Cole. We'll be right back. Hello, caller. You're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
This is Rudolph Johnson, Neighborhood House Association, here to speak on the subject.
Well, y'all, we were waiting on him, and he has called in. Go ahead, sir. You got the floor right now. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm not sure what the topic is.
Oh, we were talking about, I apologize, I thought you could hear us off air. What we were talking about was why a quarterback like Willie Totten, why a quarterback like Johnnie Cole coming out of TSU and Mississippi Valley State didn't get an opportunity to get into an NFL camp and possibly earn their way onto the field and help a franchise win, given their talent and the success that they had on the HBCU level.
No, absolutely. I appreciate it. First of all, let me just say to Willie Totten and Johnnie Cole, who's a very dear friend of mine and a brother to me, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today on the show, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I think we have to kind of go back in time. Over 35 years ago, HBCUs weren't popular as institutions, academically, athletically, or otherwise. So now you have a group of 17 to 22-year-olds playing their heart out at an HBCU, whether it was Division II or 1AA level, and really in an environment that was not known to the American public. In other words, we were kind of the best kept secret at that time. So now you had to parlay your talent, your skill set, and everything that you've achieved inside of this bubble and expect NFL teams and NFL as a whole to reach into this bubble and grab us, and that just didn't happen. We've always played great football. They're just now realizing it because we're getting the exposure in this day and age. So I strongly believe we've always been playing at that great level. It's just now becoming popular to watch HBCU football and be part of HBCU football.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. And gentlemen, I think y'all will both agree when you see the national coverage that the HBCU game is getting. When now ESPN is stepping up to air some of these games on prime time and what have you. Coach Cole, I know you said anytime that they can put you on a Thursday or a Tuesday or Wednesday, you were all for that. But let me expound on Mr. Rudy's question, our statement. So does that make it harder to recruit top athletes at an HBCU when they know that they might not get the look on the pro level as they would get at an Alabama, a Clemson, or a bigger school, Oklahoma, UT, you name it?
Well, I'll tell you this. Jerry Rice is the one that stopped that myth. He went like 26, I think, in the draft at that time to already a successful San Francisco 49ers team. And then all of a sudden he exploded in the league. And as we all know now, he's the top wide receiver to ever play a football game. And when they made that mistake, I mean, they get around. They get around now. They got scouts all in all kind of areas. They got people that actually live in those areas. So, they don't want no more of those situations to fall through the cracks. But I know I want to sound, I'm gonna sound like a broken record though, but until some of those faces change who's making those decisions, then it's always going to be tough for people to make decisions out of black college football by saying, well, they're not playing the type of football that we can play on the next level. But that don't prove true. When you look back at how many black HBCU guys are in the Hall of Fame, we playing the same thing. Back in the 60s, 70s, it's the same thing. It's the same athletes. We just don't have as many now because they're going to the PWI schools. But there's still some superstar athletes at our level, and I shouldn't say at our level, in our conferences that can play on the next level.
Willie, what are your thoughts on that?
I think so too. I think the fact is that back when we played, I really felt coming out of high school, I really felt I could have gone to a PWI. but back then a lot of PWIs was not recruiting us, and when we made that mark in '84, we actually had people from Mississippi State calling, wanting us to transfer to Mississippi State to bring our talent, Jerry and I, to bring our talent to Mississippi State. But that was not going to happen because I was accustomed to being at Mississippi Valley, accustomed to my surroundings, accustomed to the success that we were having, and that's Willie Tyne was still the same guy when I was in high school. We ran the football a lot in high school, and we really didn't throw, but more of a running team. But I could throw the football. And I think sometimes you have to be able to project talent, and once you can project talent, the talent is still there. But I think that was the difference. Now you can see more PWIs are recruiting, coming to more and more black kids are getting the opportunity. We just didn't have the opportunity then like they have the opportunity now.
Yeah. Mr. Rudy, anything you want to add to that statement about the how it could affect recruiting because there's not as much of a go ahead, Coach Cole, you want to say something?
Rudy was supposed to be another one of my guests, and I want to introduce him the right way because he deserves the right way. We just jumped in with it. You're right. Because I'm going to say something about this man, Rudy Johnson, my roommate, played ball together at 150 pounds. Todd, you can relate to that. He was the H-back back in the 80s. He played fullback. He played tailback. If he needed to jump in a tight end, he played in the slot. He was that guy to put our offense together. Now, he not only went on from playing football, he is now a CEO, an African-American CEO in this United States, HBCU graduate. Glad to be affiliated with this man. He's over the Neighborhood House Association in the state of California. And he's over a whole bunch of employees. And not only that, he comes back every year, not only to Texas Southern, but to HBCUs and recruit HBCU student athletes. That's who I want to talk about, Rudy A. Johnson. Go ahead, Ru.
No, I appreciate it, Bob, brother. I appreciate it. And again, I've been looking forward to this fireside chat for quite some time. But let me speak to the issue that is on the table with respect to what I would call identifying, recruiting, and onboarding talent. In the workplace, you need to do this with a diversity and inclusion lens. And the way you do it with the diversity and inclusion lens in the workplace is ensuring that you have a diversity of thought at every level. So when we talk about the NFL, we're talking about a closed system that truly has no diversity of thought. A lot of the decision makers are folks that don't look and act like us on this call and probably can't relate or identify with the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, and other conferences and teams that are in the quote-unquote HBCU swim lane. So if you can't identify, you damn sure can't recruit because they don't have value for you because you're the one making the decision. We need to infiltrate that system, ensure African Americans are at the evaluation table, bringing young African-American athletes into that professional ranking, and then being able to retain them at that level and ensure that they grow and develop like a Jerry Rice and become successful. If you notice, if we get our foot in the door from HBCUs, we tend to stay a very long time and do very good work. And so that would be my advice, not only the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, etc.
Very well said. Very well said. And let me just throw this out because before y'all came on, we had a conversation with a young man talking about Mac Jones that came out of Alabama. He won the job over Cam Newton. and he's been playing not well. I'll be nice since I got y'all on here. I use different colorful languages when y'all are not on here. But anyway, he's not playing well. And the callers said that he's okay with that because no other rookie is playing well right now, and he sees enough of intangibles in him. To the point, when Steve McNair came out, Jeff Fisher didn't do that with him. Jeff Fisher made him sit for a year until he literally had no other choice but to play him. Tavares Jackson, when he got a chance to start, they didn't do that with him. It was either produce or we got to pull you out and go with some other, marginal quarterback. It feels like that same meritocracy does not happen when it is a quarterback. It's my show, that looks like us, or a quarterback that comes out of a program that's not one of the Power Fives. And it kills the narrative of if they're good enough, they'll get a chance. There's more to it than that. Rudy, if you don't mind, Mr. Rudy, if you don't mind, I'll let you go first, and then I want to go around the horn and see what your thoughts are about that statement.
Well, life has been no crystal stair for us, and we shouldn't expect for it to be. So that's the first thought. The second thought is we have to be in action. We have to infiltrate these systems at the decision-making level. I always talk to we have these private conversations. I won't divulge everything that we talk about. He knows. The first thing I say to him is, if you want to change a system or an organization, you have to start with the policy body and work your way down. It's not bottom up, it's top down. So you have to change the mentality of the folks making the decision. The third thing that I will say is that, when we get into a situation when that door is open for us, then we need to do everything we can to take full advantage of our opportunities and not expect that we're going to be evaluated, judged, or given the same opportunities as our other counterparts. And that's just a harsh reality, not just in sports, but in the game of life, especially in the workplace.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Johnson, I got to say amen to that. Willie, go ahead. Your thoughts on when we get the chance, do we get the same kind of time, just fair chance that and I'm not trying to make us sound like victims. I'm just talking facts right now.
Well, I can use myself as an example. During the NFL strike, I went to Buffalo, and I started for the first 3 games, and just while I was there, I knew that the way the coaches the way they were setting up practice, the way they were doing things, that they were just waiting for the old guys to come back. And people say, well, you got an opportunity to go. I knew point blank that I was not going to be the quarterback at the Buffalo Bills with Jim Kelly being there. But having an opportunity, and I really felt that it was not a fair opportunity with that in mind, knowing that Jim Kelly, it was even said at practice, well, we have our quarterback. We're not looking for a quarterback. So I was just there really just to fill in the void because of the opportunity. I don't think that was an opportunity, but in their eyes, I think in their eyes, they gave me an opportunity, which that was not a fair opportunity. And just giving the opportunity when it was over, they let everybody go. But I think if I would have stayed there, it just for the rest of that season, I think I could have learned a lot from the Buffalo Bills. I think Mark Levy was the head coach at the time, and Ted Brody was the offensive coordinator. And I thought that he left there and went to Indianapolis. But I thought I think in their eyes, they gave me a chance, but really they didn't give me a chance because he was doing under those circumstances, because every day they would wait for the old guys to come back. So getting the opportunity, yes, I remember you saying once you get an opportunity, you have to make the best of it. And sometimes the situation is not always like that. I mean, a coach can make a player. I've been coaching for 31 years, and I can put a player in position to be successful just on what I call as a coach. But now, if you don't want me to be successful, you can make it hard for me in terms as a player. You can make that play hard for me. If you know that I'm not a runner, why would you run the football with me? If you know I'm a passer, give me something that is my strength, and so I can be successful. And you see the difference. And coaches do it all the time. Johnny know when I'm right, because Johnny, coaches sometimes can make players. They always say players make the coach, but I think coaches can put players in the right situation so they can be successful.
Let me jump in, Coach, before you get this, and Mr. Johnson, bear with me a little bit because y'all are lighting me up. I got people that are texting saying this is the best show of the year, and I agree. So there was a head coach by the name of Jeff Fisher, the same one that made Steve McNair sit and wait, who got a quarterback by the name of Vince Young. And him and the offensive coordinator, Norm Chow, made it very plain to Vince. I'm talking facts now. I'm talking about what I know, not what I heard. We don't want you, but we're going to play you until we get somebody else because the owner, Bud Adams, said we got to do it. So you had an offensive coordinator who didn't want him. You had a head coach that didn't want him. You think that they put him in the best position to be successful? Now, Vince didn't do everything right, and Vince let his emotions get the best of him, and it ended up costing him. But like what Willie just said, the coaches have a big impact on what a real chance is for players coming out. Go ahead, Coach Cole.
Well, I'm going to change the narrative here, but keep it in the same lane, because the same things that they do about hiring their own, that's what we don't do at HBCUs. We always going out and hiring someone else and not giving our guys opportunity to develop. Of course, the biggest thing is about Deion Sanders and Eddie George at Tennessee State, which is great, and they doing what they supposed to do as a head coach, and they doing a great job. But on the flip side of that, like I told you last week, what happens to those young guys? What happens to the Willie Tines, the Johnnie Coles, the Melvin Spears, the LC Coles, the young guys who have came up through HBCU, waiting on our opportunity to get that opportunity at their level? You know what I'm saying? I was a successful head coach. There's been other head coaches. Rod Broadway was a successful head coach. Pete Richardson was a successful head coach. But we never was able to crack those PWIs. We never was able to make the kind of money they make it. So, that same deal that when black college coaches feel about, these guys coming in and taking these jobs, is the same deal we're talking about today.
Yeah, that's true.
That I don't know if you want to call it reverse racism, but basically we're saying, yeah, you can go to black college. Yeah, you can play football there, but no, you can't come back and be the offense coordinator here. And now it's going to go out. No, you can't even come back and be the head coach unless you don't play in the NFL or went to some PWI school. So those things are happening, and I'm trying to speak for those coaches who can't speak for themselves. I'm trying to speak for the guys who are coming through now, that we got to sometimes take that same narrative and be stingy at our opportunities and give our opportunities to us, because the door is not open for us. And like Coach said, we got to infiltrate up in those systems. And we have some guys in those systems. You got a Bruce Arrington, who's a white guy, that actually hired a bunch of African-American coaches, and they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's ludicrous that and until we change those faces in those places, we're going to keep getting what we get.
Brother Rudy, just real quick to set the stage, we got Rudy A. Johnson. He's a former HBCU player at Texas Southern. He is a CEO and running businesses out in California. We got Willie Totten, one of the baddest quarterbacks to ever play the game from Mississippi Valley State. And we got the coach, Johnnie Cole, who y'all know, he got TSU to the promised land and really needs to get back over there and get them back, because I'm sorry, I digress. Don't put that in your highlight reel. But he also played quarterback in the SWAC. Mr. Rudy, let me ask you a question. So, in the NFL, they tried to use something like the Rooney Rule. And sure enough, people found a way to make that non-effective. to the point where they're just trying to do everything they can to revamp it now. We don't have a Rooney Rule in college. Somebody can say today, 5 years before they retire, I'm going to make Johnnie Cole my heir apparent. So now that job is locked up. That job is not going anywhere because I'll be there 5 more years and Coach Cole will be my replacement. What can we actually do to bring about change on the college level that affects not only players but coaches?
Well, I'm a big proponent of the Rooney Rule because I think it really knocked down a lot of doors in the NFL, and it really presented what I would call a mandate for African American coaches to be interviewed at the professional level. On the college level, I think there needs to be an equivalent of a Rooney Rule so that when there are major searches going on, we need to ensure that some of our young African American talent are in the interviewing rooms as these selections are being made. But furthermore, we need to be on the interview panels making those selections.
That's a strong statement, those interview panels. And again, as you said that, it came to mind that one of the higher-ups in the Big 12 said that right now there is not an athletic director for a Big 12 school that has ever hired an African-American head coach. Let that sink in. That's one of the Power 5 conferences in America, and out of all their, 10 schools, none of them have hired an African-American head coach. What would make them want to do that all of a sudden?
Well, can I just ask one quick question before we move on?
Yeah.
How many African-American presidents of those universities do we have? See, we got to start there and then work our way to a head coach selection process.
Well, and then, of course, you go further than that. How many African-American people are on the board of regents of the universities to mandate that they hire or to mandate that they interview an African-American? And, that's what me and you, AJ, been talking about, with Dion, all the great things he's doing and all the attention that he's bringing. But like I said, and like Rudy said earlier, it can't start from the bottom up. It's got to start from the top down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even though he's doing some great things, but until a lot of faces change, we stand in this quicksand.
Yeah, yeah. Let me change the topic real quick. We got one of our long-term listeners, Milo, sent a text message in. He said, "Can you ask Mr. Totten, does he keep in contact with Jerry Rice, and also does he think he would fit into today's game?"
Yes, I do. Jerry and I, we're fraternity brothers, and also he's my line brother. So yes, we stay in contact. I talked to Jerry 2 weeks ago, and he's doing well. And could I fit in today's game? It's no doubt that I could. I mean, the style of play, what we did back in the 80s, is no different from what we're doing now. I mean, you read man coverage or you go read zone coverage, and that's what I teach my quarterbacks now, in order how to to beat it. And so yes, to answer his question, yes, I truly feel that I will be able to play in today's game and be very, very successful.
Real quick, let me go ahead and be real. This is the first time I've been messy all year long. It's September. It's the first time I've been messy all year long. So, Willie, what fraternity is that? What little fraternity was that y'all was in?
I don't know, but one. I mean, I always tell everybody.
Mr. Rudy, listen to him. You hear him?
When you wake up in the morning, all you have to look up in the sky, man. If the sky is blue and white, it's gonna be a day. So, if you can see that, that should answer all the questions. I'm a Phi Beta Sigma.
I'm just waving at you.
There's some Omega Psi listeners out there, and I just want all the bros to know I'm representing today for all of you. Roo.
So I appreciate you, Mr. Rudy, and Willie, we appreciate you. But we got that new thing locked down 2-1. So we appreciate y'all coming, and thank y'all for playing.
Hey, have me anytime, man. I love it. JC, always good, bro. In case you invite, man, and And it was a pleasure for me to come and just share some of my experiences. And let's do this again. I love to do this again.
We would love to have you back, man. Really would. And do me a favor, man. Get Mississippi Valley State back on the map, man. It's been a while, so get down there, get involved with them, get them back on track.
Hey, we're working hard, man. We're working hard. We had a tough one last night, but I really feel that Coach Dancy, who's our head coach, I think he's doing an outstanding job. And there's some things that we got to do. We got some things that we got to do as an alumni and as alum to really make sure our programs stay at that level where we can compete. Right now, falling short, and we shouldn't be falling short. Things that happened back 20 years ago shouldn't be happening now. We should be made up in some things that we should want to change in order to see our school prosper.
Yeah, I respect that. I really do. Go ahead, Coach. You want to say something?
Oh no, I was going to say we'll talk later. We'll talk, Willie. I appreciate you. You're a great man. You're a father. I know your daughter done well in college. She's a former basketball player, and your wife is a super lady. And again, I thank you for the time. I know you guys got to get ready to go to practice or go to some meeting. So I appreciate your time.
Films, man, but gotta look at them films and gotta make corrections, man, and move it on. But I saw both of you guys throwing it up, man. But I gotta throw it up one last time. That blue fire. Gotta throw that blue fire for you one last time, brother.
All right.
Really, I'm gonna just say this, man. You still one of my favorites of all time. That ain't gonna never change, man. I wish I had got you before you played. You would have been all right.
Oh, that's all right, bro.
All right. Take care, Willie. Thanks again.
All right, bye-bye.
And Mr. Rudy, we appreciate you joining. Do me a favor. We're going to give you closing comments as well.
Well, first of all, let me just say, my brother Johnnie Cole is the best offensive mind in the country, bar none at any level. And I just want to encourage all those athletic directors out there to look at him and give him one more shot to take us to the title. And then I just want to say thanks to you for allowing me to be on the show. And lastly, most of us are going to go professional at something other than sport.
Right.
And we need to be prepared for that. We need to take that degree and parlay that and go out and do something big in the world. So thank you for having me today.
We appreciate you again, Mr. Rudy Johnson. Go ahead, Johnny. I know you want to close him out right.
Well, Rudy is one of those type of guys that, invented himself, and never thought that being at HBCU was a lower level or a higher level. He's just always been him. He's been a very intelligent guy, a go-getter, a self-starter. I can't say enough about him and his family. His wife is also a Texas Southern University graduate. He's deep, rich. He bleed maroon and gray. Hopefully we got some administrators from that university that will reach out to him and treat him like he should be treated. When you're talking about an African-American CEO in the United States of America, he's got to be one of the top. I mean, I can't name any. I'm not talking about a small, some company that you're started. I'm talking about an organization that runs through what California is, the third largest state of United States. That's saying a lot. And he's an HBCU graduate. That tells you that we're graduating superstars. It ain't about lower level. It ain't about let's feel sorry for the children of the blind. HBCUs have been here. HBCUs have always been super. HBCUs have always given us an opportunity. That was all what it was, is giving us an opportunity. We never been less than. Yeah. And that's what we got to get out of thinking. Stop being less than. That's why we got to be able to accept us when with these positions that open up on these campuses, that we give HBCU graduates that same opportunity, and most of all, the same respect that we give somebody else finishing from another university. And he is a living witness.
And I receive and appreciate that. And Mr. Johnson, hear me when I say nothing but respect. I appreciate meeting you. Can't wait to look forward to connecting with you again And don't hesitate to come back with me and Coach on our HBCU Stroll.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coach Cole, you outdid yourself today. I mean, you outdid yourself today. Goodness gracious.
Well, AJ, first I want to say, man, I can't say enough about you and your background. You believe in a higher power. I think that's real strong. I think that was one of the reasons why you look past any negativism that would have been said about Johnnie Cole. You've always treated me with respect, and anybody that is in those leadership roles, and you've pastored a church before, you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? There's only one higher power that you can please, and that's who you got to answer to. And you can't live for everybody. And, you've recognized about me, and I've recognized about you. And I want to just say, continue to thank you for this opportunity. Thank our listeners for listening in. I'm getting now a lot of feedback. A lot of people are joining in, and we're not just talking about athletics. We're not on this job to get Johnnie Cole the job back at Texas Southern. That ain't what this is about. And I just want to just say that whether I coach again another day, I'm happy. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with my family. Life is good, and anytime that I can help. And this is, to me, this is a station that we're helping people to make decisions about opportunities they're about to reach. And that means a lot to me.
Well, Coach, again, we appreciate you even making the time, because I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing. In fact, you had a pretty good week on the picks this week. I wasn't going to let you get out of here without going down your picks. You had Alcorn winning over Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff was up, 26-7, and ended up losing that game 39-38. So you got that one right. We both had Jackson State right. We both had Prairie View right. We both had Alabama A&M right. I think we both went with Rice over Texas Southern. But then, what was it? Bethune-Cookman and Alabama State. You had Bethune. I had Alabama State.
You got me on that one, did you?
And then we both had Southern. So, Coach, it was a tie.
It was a tie?
I had one wrong.
Oh, gosh. What about the rankings?
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up. So after what we saw this past week, I've made some changes to my rankings, and I want to hear what you got in yours. Okay, so let me write these down. All right, so you had A&M, Alabama A&M number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jackson State number 2, Southern number 3, Prairie View number 4, Alcorn number 5. You had Pine Bluff at 6, Alabama State at 7, Bethune-Cookman at 8, Grambling at 9, and FAMU, Mississippi Valley State, and then Texas Southern.
Yeah. I got to move that around a little bit. I gotta stay with Alabama A&M 1.
Okay, you and me both on that.
I think Southern is putting it together. I'm gonna go 2.
You going Southern 2 over Jackson State?
Yeah. Oh man, go ahead.
I'm going Jackson State at number 2 still.
No, I'm gonna go Southern at number 2, and this is why.
All right.
You gotta score in the SWAC, and Jackson State is still struggling on scoring in the SWAC, even though they're playing good solid football. I'm gonna go number 3, Prairie View A&M. I love their quarterback.
I do too.
I love what Coach Dooley. I love what Coach Dooley is doing with that quarterback. Then I'm gonna go number 4, because first of all, Shakur Sanders, the quarterback, as a freshman, I think he's doing an outstanding job. But there's going to be limitations when he starts getting in the thick of things. When you see the teams they've played, he played a struggling Florida A&M, still trying to find quarterback. He played at Division II Delta State. And then he played who they had. They played the other game they played. I didn't think it was a quality opponent, so I'm gonna move them to 4. Okay, and then I got to go with Alcorn at 5.
Now, Coach, let me ask you real quick before we go. You didn't move Alcorn up after what they did to Pine Bluff? Because that's where you had them last time. You had them at number 5.
But that wasn't impressive. You know, you gotta win. You gotta win for me. So I'm gonna leave them at 5.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And then I'm gonna go with Pine Bluff at 6.
Okay.
And then we got Bethune-Cookman at 7. I'm still, even though they 0-4, they still playing good defense. Man, Grambling just wow. You know, I just don't know.
Okay.
They just, and then we got Grambling at 8, Mississippi Valley 9, Texas Southern 10.
All right. What about Alabama State? Where you got them at?
Oh, so I got them at number 4.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I got them at 4.
I'm gonna type up your list, and I'm gonna put it out there with mine.
Okay.
And Coach, I got to run through these real quick because right now we are tied. So here are the games for this week. All right, you got Pine Bluff visiting Prairie View Thursday night. Who you got?
I will be there, and I got Prairie View.
I got Prairie View as well. All right, then we've got Bethune-Cookman at South Carolina State. Who you got? I lost Coach Cole. Okay. Well, we'll have to get him back, and then we'll get our picks, and then we will post them up because right now we are tied in the standings. So he and I are tied in the standings. But what a show. Y'all just don't know how big of a deal that was to have a Willie Totten on the show. Y'all just don't know how big of a deal that was. Coach, you back. So let me go ahead and run down these again real quick.
Okay,
so you got Prairie View over Pine Bluff. We both agree on that. Bethune at South Carolina State. Who do you have?
Bethune.
Okay. Alabama A&M at Grambling. Who do you have?
A&M.
Me too. All right. North American at Texas Southern. Who you got?
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern as well. North Carolina Central at Mississippi Valley State. Who you got?
Oh, North Carolina Central.
I got Central as well.
I hope Willie ain't watching.
I hope not. And then Alabama State at FAMU. Who you got?
Alabama State.
I am with you. No, I'm going FAMU. I'm going FAMU in the upset at home. All right.
Homecoming, baby. Homecoming.
Y'all better. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. But y'all certainly better beat. What's that? North American. Don't lose to them on homecoming.
No way, no how. That's what you do. You get you a game that you can win. Great job by the AD. Great job by the head coach. You know, we need to get our feet under us. We scored 21 points in the fourth quarter from Rice. You know, my heart says that we're moving in the right direction. But as a coach, when I looked at the stats, hey, you know, we'll take it. You know, it's a moral victory, but we want to do them 21 in the first quarter or the second quarter. You know, and we can't give up 630 yards of offense and win a football game. But
score early,
we'll see.
Often, and don't give up that many points and yards.
And the alumni come out. Hell, hell, hell to Texas Southern. Hell, hell, hell to Maroon and Gray. That's what. TSU.
We got to get ready to go, man. I can't have you repping TSU like that. We'll talk to you next week on the HBCU Stroll, okay?
Thank you. Have a great day.
Y'all, we got to get ready to go. Sybil Wilkes, let's see. I don't even think I have time for her. Let me just tell you this. Donnie McClurkin's up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music and the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does this thing every Monday through Friday, from 2 to 3. Lord say the same. I'll be back tomorrow with Talk Your Team Tuesday. We'll talk about some more of these games. Coach Cole was rocking that TSU fight song. All right, y'all. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Y'all take care.
It's Need to Know, a widely discredited GOP-led review of the 2000.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. We're back at it. Today is Monday, September 27th, 2021. Number one, since September 9th, some 30,000 Haitian migrants have been seeking entry into the United States. The last of up to 15,000 have been cleared from their encampment underneath and near a bridge in Del Rio, Texas. The Biden administration has faced blistering criticism from its handling of the crisis from Republicans and Democrats. California Congresswoman Maxine Waters slammed the Biden administration for the way Haitian migrants were being treated at the border, saying that it takes us back hundreds of years. Number two, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is ready to throw out many Texans' 2020 presidential election votes. Even though former President Donald Trump won Texas, the state Republican Party is utilizing resources to open up a 2020 election audit into the 4 largest counties that voted for Biden. These areas are disproportionately represented by liberals, urbanites, young people, and people of color. Read how the Black Women's PAC is fighting back in today's newsletter. Number 3, about 75% of Americans ages 12 and older are at least partially vaccinated against the coronavirus as of Friday. Rates vary widely by region, and a handful of states are struggling with lower than average vaccinations despite a recent surge in COVID-19 cases. Only 5 states have vaccinated more than 85% of their eligible residents. They are Hawaii, Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Number 4, video footage shows law enforcement officers in Missouri setting a police dog on a black man while he was being arrested and watching as the dog bit him. The officers then push the man to the ground where the dog starts to pull on his leg. The officers then pull the dog back before releasing him again. County officials are now investigating this incident. Number 5. Congratulations to the What You Need to Know partner, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The sorority recently announced they set a new record and raised more than $2.1 million in one day to benefit our nation's historically Black colleges and universities. The organization's annual HBCU Impact Day, September 20th, far exceeded the goal as the country's first Black sorority received online donations and checks from local AKA chapters, private donors, and corporate matching dollars from across the globe. The sorority has been at the forefront of several philanthropic initiatives. In June, they announced the creation of scholarships for George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter Gianna and his granddaughters. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Say no to generational curses and traditions that do not serve you. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and social activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Check out the newest album of our very own social activist Quinn Townsend Riley, And She Worthy, available on streaming platforms now. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partner, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. To subscribe to our free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered. It's Sybil Wilkes.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed today's show because, man, let me tell you something. This was really one of my favorites, and I mean that sincerely. Coach Johnnie Cole did an amazing job bringing in Willie Totten and Rudy A. Johnson, CEO of a major corporation out in California. So, again, y'all, stay tuned into the lunch break because we got some great things happening. And, again, I want to thank Coach Johnnie Cole for making time each and every week for us to take our HBCU strolls. As always, not this, definitely this. I love y'all, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Team Texas, or talk to you Team Tuesday, okay?